Can we prevent food allergies? Can we treat food allergies? The short answer to these questions is yes. Yes, it is possible to prevent food allergies. Yes, it is possible to treat food allergies. How? In this video, I'll explain in detail how food allergies can be prevented. Watch this video till the end. There are 8 simple yet very powerful steps that you will learn which will help you prevent food allergies. So, welcome to the House of Roys. In the previous 2 videos, we saw how food allergies develop and how, to everyone's surprise, globalization is the main reason why the number of cases with food allergies is exploding globally like a pandemic. If you haven't seen those 2 videos, please go and watch. The link is in the description box. Now, we cannot avoid globalization. We are in it now. So we are all prone to develop food allergies. However, we can still take some steps which can help prevent these allergies. Although please remember, such outcome cannot be guaranteed. There are 2 key principles here. The first principle towards preventing food allergies is to keep the inflammation level in the body as low as possible. Now, the first step is to recognize our own ancestry and stick to the practices of our ancestors. Eat what they ate, or at least try matching. Live where they lived, or at least try living in similar climatic conditions. I will give you my example. I'm a Bengali, so ideally I must keep eating fish and rice and other ancestral Bengali dishes. I must eat vegetables and fruits that grow in the soils of Bengal. I must respect the seasonal variations in the diet that were followed by my ancestors. I must continue living near the Bay of Bengal. Genetic evolution that shaped Bengali bodies over thousands of years has resulted in a unique biology in my body that allow ancestral Bengali diet and the climate in Bengal to be optimal for my body. Now, if you are a Punjabi, the same Bengali specific climatic and dietary conditions will not be optimal. In a previous video, I explained how this mismatch between what our bodies are adapted to face and what we face leads to chronic inflammation that then triggers food allergies. In the current fast-paced globalized world, we cannot avoid this mismatch. We cannot avoid getting chronic inflammation due to this mismatch. And this is the main reason why not only food allergies, but other diseases of chronic inflammation such as diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, etc. are rising exponentially today. For an immigrant who is moving from one country to another, it is nearly impossible to match his ancestral conditions. I myself migrated from Kolkata to Boston a few years back. But if I am to somehow prevent development of food allergies, I must try to maintain a diet that is close to what my ancestors traditionally ate. This will minimize the mismatch. But more importantly, we need to somehow control the mismatch-driven inflammation. This is where practices like regular fasting and meditation come to rescue. We need to adopt these practices as a part of our routine life. Earlier, these practices used to be labeled as blind, superstitious practices. But now there is enough published research to show that fasting and meditation significantly bring down inflammation. The other practice we must all adopt is to make and follow a routine. Decide when you will eat, when you will sleep, when you will wake up, when you will meditate, which days of the week you will fast, etc. Constant changes in these routines significantly increase inflammation. Also, try matching these routines with the sunlight and sunset. Sleep early at night. Wake up early in the morning. Do not eat anything after sunset. Next, we need to reduce mental stress And here too, meditation helps. Do what you are passionate about. Be kind to everyone, including yourself. Be compassionate to everyone. Don't push yourself too much. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but remember, mental stress is a key driver of chronic inflammation and often triggers food allergies. So, in short, the first principle that we discussed towards prevention of food allergies is all about reducing inflammation. Now, we saw in a previous video that food allergies occur when the immune system mistakenly identifies a certain food or a substance in that food as harmful and starts fighting against them. So the second principle towards preventing food allergies is to train the body to accept that the food that is being consumed is not harmful. The only way to do this is to regularly expose the body to food substances against which allergies are frequent. This actually can be initiated right from the time when the kid is in the mother's womb. Mothers should be encouraged to eat proteinaceous food regularly during pregnancy and lactation. Studies show that children born to such mothers have significantly lower chances of developing food allergies. I really believe that our ancestors knew about this. In several cultures across the world, traditionally, pregnant women are made to eat dry fruits and nuts. There are compelling evidences now that show that in populations where nut exposure is actively avoided, there appear to be more nut allergy cases than in populations that encourage early introduction of nuts. There is a very interesting study on this which compared food allergies amongst two Libyan groups and a UK native group. The first Libyan group was settled in Libya and mostly followed traditional practices and fed pregnant and lactating mothers with nuts. The other Libyan group were settled in UK, but they also mostly followed the traditional practice of feeding nuts during pregnancy and lactation. But the non-Libyan UK native group in general avoided nuts during pregnancy and lactation. Interestingly, the study showed that the prevalence of nut allergy was 0.4% for the Libya-based Libyans, 0.4% for the UK Libyans, and a whopping 4.5% for UK native group. Scientists in UK found that Jewish children who avoided peanuts in the first year of life had a 10-fold higher risk of peanut allergy compared to Jewish children in whom peanuts were introduced early in infancy. Similarly, researchers have shown that infants in Israel who were exposed to cow's milk in the first 14 days of life were less likely to become allergic to cow's milk compared to those who had their first exposure beyond the first 14 days. The Australian health nut study also had very similar findings. The researchers discovered that early introduction of cooked egg into infants' diets between the age of 4 to 6 months reduced the risk of egg allergy, while delayed introduction after 12 months of age was associated with higher rates of egg allergy. On similar lines, there was another study conducted in UK. This study was called LEAP. Now, LEAP stands for Learning Early About Peanut Allergy. This study compared two groups of children between the ages of 4 and 11 months. The first group consumed 6 grams of peanut protein at least 3 times a week. The second group completely avoided peanut products for the first 5 years of life. At the end of this study, 17.2% of the children in the peanut avoidance group developed peanut allergy by the age of 5 years, compared to only 3.2% in the peanut consumption group, translating to a risk reduction of 86.1%. Now, after hearing all these studies and findings, you shouldn't be surprised to hear that food allergy is actually more common in families which are better educated and which are well-to-do. And this is a very intriguing statistic, isn't it? This statistic actually has its root in international recommendations that were made in an attempt to curb food allergy. In those days, all experts believed that avoidance is the best way to prevent food allergies, although there was no such evidence. And despite lack of evidence, just because of what experts believed at that point in time, in the year 2000, the World Health Organization, WHO, recommended that complementary foods should be introduced no earlier than 6 months of age. The American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, also further recommended that mothers should be restricted of peanuts and tree nuts, and there should be elimination of cow's milk, eggs, and fish during lactation to reduce risk of food allergy in their children. AAP also recommended that solid foods should not be introduced in the diet of high-risk infants until 6 months of age, and dairy products should be delayed until 1 year, eggs until 2 years, and peanuts, nuts, and fish until 3 years of age. This recommendation was widely adopted by educated families worldwide and is continued to be followed even today. Today we know that these recommendations were completely flawed and actually contributed to the rise in food allergies. In fact, later, the American Association of Pediatrics and the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, subsequently replaced these redundant and inaccurate guidelines with new recommendations that solid foods should not be delayed beyond 4 to 6 months of age, and that the introduction of allergenic foods into infants' diets should no longer be delayed. A joint consensus communication was released by several allergy organizations worldwide in 2015, recommending introduction of peanut-containing products into the diets of high-risk infants early in life between the age of 4 to 11 months in countries where peanut allergy is prevalent, because delaying the introduction of peanut can be associated with increased risk of peanut allergy. But these recommendations came a bit too late, and the current fad amongst the so-called educated families is still towards avoidance. And this practice of educated parents is fueling the rise of food allergies globally. Okay, so let's now summarize key takeaway points on how to prevent food allergies. Remember 8 steps. Step number 1, don't migrate away from your land of ancestors if you don't have to. I know it's a difficult step, but if possible, don't migrate. Step number 2, stick to your ancestral food habits and practices. If you are a Punjabi, follow the seasonal dietary habits of your ancestors back in Punjab. If you are a Bengali, eat what your ancestors ate back in Bengal. Step number 3, learn and practice meditation regularly. Slowly increase the length of meditation time. Step number 4, adopt fasting practices. Make your own rules in terms of how you will fast. If you struggle with such rules, just follow the fasting practices followed in your religion and culture. All religions and cultures recognized power of fasting since thousands of years, and they all have developed their own rules to get maximum benefit out of fasting. With fasting, remember not to push too much. If you're uncomfortable with hunger pangs, eat something, but keep practicing fasting. Fasting is like a muscle. It will grow slowly as you keep practicing. All right, step number 5, set routines and follow them. Define when you will sleep, when you will wake up, when you will eat, etc. Step number 6, sleep early at night, wake up early in the morning. Do not eat after the sun sets. Step number 7, pregnant and lactating women must be encouraged to eat nuts. And step number 8, introduce solid foods in newborns as early as possible. Introduce nuts in their diet at the earliest. Follow these 8 steps and most probably you will not get food allergies. But the biological and mental stress caused by today's globalization leads to chronic inflammation that actually cannot be prevented. And this chronic inflammation has put us under tremendous risk of developing food allergies. We can control the inflammation using those 8 steps that we discussed in this video. With these 8 steps, we will substantially decrease the risk of developing food allergies. Unfortunately, we cannot prevent globalization. So despite what we do, there will be cases where food allergies will appear. We started this video by saying that food allergies can be treated as well. How? This is exactly what we will discuss in the next video. So please subscribe to get notification of that video. Till then, bye. Thank you.